guys, welcome back to Irene Tarot Card. I'm Ren, and today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about inspiration and finding inspiration in your day-to-day life and feeling inspired to do things and achieve things in life. Now, this is a channel related to art, so painting inspiration is, I suppose, one area to cover, but you can apply this to anything in life, what I'm going to cover today, basically. To feel inspired can be quite challenging, but we get inspired to do things all the time, like employment. Most people don't like work. However, the inspiration to have money in your pocket outweighs the negative connotations we associate with work. To have a clean space, to have an organised space, you're inspired to actually put things away because you know that that keeps things tidy. But how do you get inspired? What starts that spark of inspiration? And that all depends on what you need to inspire yourself to do. So it just depends on what area you want to apply inspiration to and how you can go about trying to find that inspiration. For instance, cooking balanced meals. Now, everyone talks about health and trying to eat healthy and eating well, but how do you get inspired to actually eat well every day and to apply healthy eating to your regular day-to-day life? For me personally, that starts with having a meal plan. And I have spoken about my meal plans before, but basically I write everything out on a list Monday to Sunday of what I'm going to be eating. I take into account whether it's just Jay and I, whether Jazz and Max are here, whether I've got a dinner party planned, or whether it's going to be a nice day on the weekend and we might have a barbecue. And I try to vary proteins and carbs throughout the week. So if I've written potato on Monday, I'm obviously not going to make a potato dish on Tuesday. Same with the proteins and such. To get ideas, I sometimes flip through food magazines and that can give me some ideas, and I just change it up to however I would cook the particular meal I'm looking at. I sometimes scroll ideas on the internet. Sometimes I jot these ideas down into a food ideas page that I have on my phone. So when I am constructing that meal plan, I've got the ideas there at hand and I can just sort of scroll and have a look. Oh yeah, I might make that this week, or this or that, applying the same method of different carbs, different proteins week to week. And this keeps everything really well balanced. And then once I've got those lists worked out, all I need to do is go to the supermarket and stock everything up. So I stock most things up for the week. Some things like fresh prawns or fish I might have to drop into the supermarket and get later in the week. But that way I've got everything on hand. And having a well-stocked cupboard can be so inspirational because you've got everything at hand, you've got the ingredients you need, and then that can inspire you that night to be, oh yes, I've got, steaks in the fridge, and tonight we're going to have steak and chips and salad, and that inspires you to get up, get into the kitchen, pull the ingredients out and actually throw it together, and you have a balanced meal at the end of it. Growing a garden can also be really inspirational. Getting out in the fresh air, putting some seeds or some plants, little plants in the ground, watching them grow, even just a herb pot, having something fresh growing in your garden that you can pick can be so inspiring to make you think, oh, I could add that to this dish or that dish. And it's just refreshing being outside and watching things grow. So I highly recommend starting small. And before you know it, you'll probably be planting a bunch of things that you never thought you would plant because it's just so rewarding to actually have a little garden going. So what about a clean home? Getting inspired to clean can be a little bit tricky because cleaning can be so boring. But there's things out there like inspirational videos for cleaning, for organising, that help a lot of people to get inspired. But above all else, for me, it starts with a list. As you probably know by now if you've watched some of my other videos, I have lists for everything basically. But if I write a list out of what I need to clean and what needs to be done and itemize the list bit by bit, then that sort of gives me an idea of everything that has to be done in order. And then all I have to do is actually apply myself to the first task on the list. Now you can throw on some music, something that puts you in a great mood, and think, okay, I've just got to get that one thing done, that first step. And then once you've done that first step, you get to cross off that list, which is extremely satisfying. And once you've done that, it kind of gives you the momentum to propel you to go to the next item on the list, and so on and so forth. And before you know it, you get through a whole list of things and you're like, wow, I've crossed off all these things on my list to do, and I've got a clean, tidy, organized space. And then throughout the week, all you really have to do is just put things back to where they belong to keep the house tidy until the following week, when you do a clean again of your floors and, vacuuming, whatever you might need to do in your home to clean. And everything stays tidy and put away, and then you just write your list the following week. Okay, I've got to get this done, this done, this done, and then cross them off and you're done and your house is clean. Little self-rewards can also help with this. So if you think to yourself, okay, if I've crossed off all these things on my list, and afterwards I'm going to get myself something nice for lunch, or whatever you might like to reward yourself with. I love buying a small bunch of flowers for the house every week, and when I do my cleaning day, I put flowers out because I just love having fresh flowers in the house. And that's my little self-reward for having the house all clean and all done. And then you've got a lovely bunch of flowers sitting there, which I absolutely love. But you can reward yourself, like I said, with anything. I also have plants around the home because they say it's extremely therapeutic to look after plants. So I have a bunch of pot plants around the house that I water once a week, also on my cleaning day. And they don't take much work really. You just water them once a week and then you've got something vibrant in the home. It's really, really nice to just feel like the house is clean and everything's all done. Your plants are watered, you've put out flowers. If you're female, you might like to do that. If you're male, you might like to reward yourself in another way. But yeah, it's just a lovely feeling and you feel whole, and then that sort of inspires you the following week to continue doing it because of the great feeling, the great rewarding feeling that you get from it. So another thing that self-rewards can apply to is work. And going to work isn't fun for most people. Most people don't like work. However, you can have little self-rewards and things to work towards throughout your work and money that you're being paid by writing down little goal lists of things that you want to buy, wish list items, bigger things you want to work towards, like maybe a holiday, and anything that you basically would love to own, love to buy, love to go out and do, love to go out and see. You can sort of jot down and have an ongoing goal list that you've got aside to work towards, that when you are getting paid, you can put $10 aside or $20 aside towards this. Even you can open up little bills kitty bank accounts, and you can sort of, like they've got Christmas club accounts and things like that, that you can always transfer a little bit of money into every week. And then when you do reward yourself with small rewards, maybe once a month, and then a bigger reward maybe every 6 months, try and go away for a weekend or do something special that you wouldn't do otherwise. And that sort of keeps you motivated and inspired to go to work and earn your money, because we all need to work basically in one way, shape or form. Even though I've got a lot of health issues, so I paint and that's my work. Even that takes motivation and inspiration. And sometimes little things can be quite inspiring to me, like scrolling the internet for various inspiration photos, which you can't just copy any photo because they're copyright, but it might inspire me to paint a certain scene, a certain landscape. Or I sometimes put photos that I come across in free reference photos that I follow into a little list where I can just scroll inspiration photos and try and get myself inspired to actually paint, because I have to self-motivate. So yeah, you can basically Google anything that that you want to sort of work towards, or that you want to research, or that you want to save towards. And when you have that sort of list of things that you want to work towards, that inspires you to keep going and to actually achieve things. For me, having a schedule helps, and that helps greatly when you have to be at work from 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are. So having a schedule to work towards, to be organised in the morning before you go to work, pack yourself a healthy lunch, things like that. For me, it's knowing that on certain days I have to paint certain layers to get the painting that I'm working on completely finished by a set date, and then to make a video about it, for instance, or whatever I might be doing, whether I want to sell that piece of art or give it away or whatever it may be. But sticking to a schedule helps me stay motivated and it keeps me inspired. Another thing that's really inspiring is just going out in nature. I love going on hikes, as you might know if you've watched my previous videos, but getting out in nature and actually going down to the beach for a walk or going on a nice hike can be so rewarding and so inspiring, because it makes you take note of your fitness level. So if you sort of feel like, oh, you know, maybe I should be doing more, maybe I should be exercising 3 days a week. And it makes you think of these things that otherwise you wouldn't think of when you're sort of just sat on the couch watching a show or reading a book, which is fine too. But every now and then to get out and actually do something, it really keeps you inspired to do more. And to next time I'm going to do that other hike that's at this place that I went to, or next time I'm going to go down to such and such a beach. And it sort of keeps you feeling well and healthy, and out in nature just makes you feel well all over. It makes you feel grounded, makes you feel great. So I highly recommend getting out and actually hiking or whatever you might like to do, but just get out there, get out in nature. Maintaining friendships is also very important, and it definitely inspires you to do more in life when you're catching up with friends and you're actually getting out and doing something like going to a coffee shop, having a chat with a friend. Makes you actually plan for the next meeting that you might have with that friend, whether you want to have them over for a dinner party, whether it's a nice weekend and you want to have a barbecue with a couple people over, whether you want to plan to actually go out for a night or to have a drinks night, a games night at home, whatever it might be. It's very inspiring, and it just makes you feel really well all over to actually speak to people about your feelings, which obviously is extremely therapeutic. You speak about your feelings and how you're doing, and that helps with your mental health, depression, anything along those lines. Catching up with people regularly and making plans to go out and do things inspires you and propels you in life to move forward and do things on a regular basis, which is fantastic, and it's very, very important for everyone to be able to do that. So yeah, plan on having people over for a barbecue, or plan on going out for a coffee. If you haven't seen someone in a while, just shoot them a text and say, hey, how you been going? Do you want to maybe go get a coffee and, you know, catch up, and just do something like that for yourself, because it's great, makes the other person feel great because you're actually wanting to make plans with them and they feel thought about, but it also makes you feel great because then you've got to actually go and have that coffee and have that conversation, and when you do, you'll be so happy you did, and you'll be so inspired to see that person again the next time and to plan for the next outing or whatever you may be planning for the next time to catch up with the person. It's great. Now, to get inspired to break a bad habit can be very difficult. We all have habits that I guess we would like to change in some way, shape or form. And starting small is definitely the way to go, I think, and having a plan, once again, planning on how you can replace certain activities with other activities, how you can reward yourself once again in ways if you sort of aren't doing whatever you don't want to be doing so much in one day and you're applying something else that you want to be doing and then rewarding yourself in a way. For me, I like certain shows, certain movies. I sometimes sit and I read a book if I sort of just want to switch off in one sense and just think about something different. And I also pamper myself, like with doing nails. Sometimes we go out and get our nails done with Jazz, things like that. That's my little self-rewards for things that I want to be able to be doing more of, and less of other things, whatever that might be for you. So any habit is breakable. It's just a matter of planning and replacing things with healthier habits. So summing up, inspiration, I think, has to be worked towards. It doesn't often just appear out of nowhere. It can do, sometimes you're just really inspired to do something out of nowhere. But in general, day-to-day life and mundane tasks aren't very inspiring, so you don't often just feel so inspired to do something. However, if you sort of follow these steps and you do make little plans and lists of what needs to be done and what you want to work towards, I think it helps you immensely to get inspired. And also you learn from what inspires you and what doesn't inspire you, what motivates you and doesn't motivate you, by trying different steps and different things to get inspired and to do things. It's absolutely doable to try and get inspired. You just got to start. Starting anything is the hardest thing. And sometimes even watching an inspirational video on cleaning or organizing or whatever it might be. It might be like, oh yeah, this is kind of inspiring, but at the end of the video, you're like, scroll for another video. Because starting anything is the hardest step. To actually say to yourself, no, I'm going to start and I'm going to actually do this, and I'm going to get out a pen and paper or your phone in your notes section, whatever, and I'm going to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do A, B, C, D. And then once again, starting that list is difficult. Actually making yourself do A is the hardest part. Once you do that, you'll be off. You'll get the momentum and you'll be like, okay, I can cross that off. Now I can work towards this. And it really is doable. So don't feel, oh no, but I don't feel inspired to do that. Know that it's difficult for anyone to start, but once you do, you will feel a lot better about yourself and about having started, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit inspired to continue to do the next step. I hope this video has helped in some way for you to find some inspiration to do whatever it is that you might be wanting to do. I hope that some of these methods can work for you, and if not, that it has made you think of other methods that might work for you. And that's about it on the topic from me. Next week we'll be back with another painting video and a vlog about life as an artist, as per usual, as I haven't put one up for a couple of weeks. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll join me next week for a regular vlog and another oil painting. And I hope you have a great weekend and a great week, and hope to see you next time. Thanks guys. Bye.